devices for males and females. Now chastity devices are mostly used in males, but they make a lot of female chastity devices now. So are we going back to medieval times using chastity devices for males and females? Or is it part of a kinky fetish to control one so they can't mate with another? Think about that, right? Pretty interesting psychological kind of aspect behind different aspects of kink and fetish from times back then and beyond, right? Medieval is metal chastity devices for women that are like locked on with these big fucking wrought iron locks. It's amazing, and they're made out of steel. And the male chastity device is very similar, but of course now they have so many different varieties that you can pretty much get, I guess, any type of device you want. They make them in silicone, plastic, metal, carbon, like they even make like 3D. You can send into a 3D place and have a chastity device made out of a 3D printer, which is kind of interesting. Pretty bizarre, the technology that we have around today, right? Oh my god. So but anyway, so but I'm not going to talk about the specifics of different types of fetishes, right? So we'll start what it means to have a kink or a fetish, right? Basically, a kink is an unconventional sexual taste or behavior, okay? Now, one may say somebody could be a sex addict, or if you remember on Sons of Anarchy or The Sopranos, they had that guy that used to jerk off all the time. That guy had a fetish, I guess, to be voyeuristic. He got off on people watching him masturbate, right? So think about that. And the thought of him, like, if anyone has seen these episodes, you should look it up. There's a guy on The Sopranos that like jerks off chronically, and I think they kill him at some point. And then there's also the other one that I just said. Fuck. I'm like, that's like 4 times tonight I fucking like lost my mind. You know? Oh, I don't know. I guess I'm having a little bit too much fun on tonight's show, I guess, to some degree. I'm thinking. But, so unconventional sexual taste or behavior. In other words, it's anything that goes above and beyond strictly vanilla sex. Now, vanilla sex is like between male, female, male, male, female, female, male, female, male, female. You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole bunch of different. So basically, it's used to indicate that something that gives you pleasure and isn't run-of-the-mill interaction. So basically, you're not having missionary-style sex, and it's soft and lovey-dovey. There's going to be some, like, hog-tying, blindfold, gagged, you know, maybe fucked with a dildo or vibed with one of them wands or something, or having something shoved up your ass and you're gagged and you really have no choice, basically. You know, like, because you're like totally like the dominant tells you the dominant has you totally incapacitated, right? So imagine this. You're hogtied on a bed on your like stomach, right? You're blindfolded. You have a gag in your mouth, whether it's a bowl gag or a bit or a sock with fucking duct tape over it, okay? And you're hogtied and basically naked hogtied. So you're like, what could happen to me at this point? I could either be gangbanged, right? Or I could be electrocuted. I could be fucked with a strap on. I could be sodomized every which way Tuesday and either like it or cry for mercy, right? So, like, it's kind of funny with BDSM, though. We have, like, safe words that we use for this type of stuff. And, you know, my safe word is red. That means stop. I hear in the new kink fetish community, they're using pineapple as a safe word. Which is kind of funny. How did it go from red to pineapple? But look, I guess whatever safe word you're using, kudos to you, because that is the correct thing to do. You don't want to play with somebody and not have a safe word and somebody gets hurt. And, you know, some people like to test people's boundaries and pain levels to see how far they're willing to go to be a submissive or a slave to a master or a mistress. So this kind of goes into like different types of fetishes, and this is why I'm kind of having this discussion about how it's kind of like BDSM evolution, I think, to some degree. Like all the different topics that I'm discussing, because if you think about it, I get emailed daily on Twitter and Instagram, and pretty much that's the only two places I get harassed, about how they're a secret cross-dresser. Like, for instance, Mistress started doing, like, some light phone sex work again. You know, I kind of had to take a break, or was forced to take a break from it. But you know what? Now Mistress is back, and guess what? Nobody fucking ever tells me what to do ever fucking again. And, I guess in some way Mistress Candy is reborn, but in a good way. Because now, if you thought I was fucking bad then, wait till you get the new taste of me now. I am not tolerating with any bullshit from any fucking submissives ever again. Or subs who top from the fucking bottom. No more. Done. And, so if you want to be in my good graces and serve me, you better be fucking near damn perfect, or don't even bother coming in my fucking general direction. Like, literally. So, anyhow, interesting about the fetishes, though, most of these people would call these, like, phone sex lines and ask me questions about, oh, I've been a sissy or a cross-dresser for 10 years, and then when I ask them how old they are, they tell me, and then I'm like, really? So you've been a cross-dresser since you're 18 years old in the closet, and you're calling me from United Kingdom? Kind of interesting. I don't know what, like, I don't know what his deal was, but it was kind of weird. He was, like, weirded out. I think he might have ejaculated, or he was scared, or somebody came home and he had to hang up the phone. Something happened, but he was like... But you know what's fucked up, though? You're calling my sissy confession humiliation booth line. So, what misrepresentation... I can't even say this fucking word. What misrepresentation did you get from that page? I am brutal on the phone when it comes to sissies and cross-dressers, quite honestly. Most of them are attention whores. And they're very competitive with the mistress, always. And I've had several sissies in my life that were very competitive, and honestly, I'm so glad neither one of them is in my life any fucking longer, to tell you the truth. So if you're a sissy or a cross-dresser, please leave me alone. I'm done with those fetishy kinks for a while. Like, literally, I'm not into any of that shit. So, I mean, look, I have no problem seeing a straight male submissive that is subservient to a superior femdom like myself. Specifically somebody who is into a FLR, which is a female-led relationship, and it's through dominance and submission. Basically, you fucking listen to me, and that's how it goes. If you don't listen to me, out you go. I'm done. I'm not tolerating any more fucking bullshit in my life. So, it's kind of interesting. I was gone for a while, but interesting enough, I still have millions of fans, and I have to say thank you to all of you for when I came back on the online presence doing my other stuff. I felt very warm and welcome that I still got it after all these years. Think about it. This coming summer, I'm going to be a dominatrix for 32 years. It's a long time. And it's kind of interesting. Most people that I know, like in the lifestyle and stuff, they will tell you that I'm pretty damn good at what I do. And I'm back with a vengeance this time, but in a good way, for my own vengeance. I have to do this for me because that's who I am, and I'm not going to change for anybody. It's not like I could wake up one day and flip a fucking switch off and decide that I'm not going to be Mistress Candy anymore. I've always been that person. And I'm still my regular self, too, and I'll tell you what, I'm exactly the fucking same as my regular self as I am a dominatrix, so there's no falsettos with me. And anybody that knows me will tell you that. So, kind of an interesting thing, because I always get these young dominant women, well, how do I do this, or how do I do this, and what should I not do? Like, it's kind of good. I like when they come to me, because it makes me feel like, look at that, I'm now teaching them something, you know, but it's good. It all works in a favor. Okay. So, here's the interesting part. Back to the mainstream kinky vanilla 50 Shades of Grey sex stuff, right? Handcuffs is the number one thing that they talk about. So, handcuffs, or using a butt plug, like I said, or fucking somebody with a strap-on or a dildo, right? Or not even. If you've never had any type of anal play in your life, you're not going to want to go, like, fuck a huge dildo, because I'll tell you what. You're going to get, like, an anal fissure, you'll get hemorrhoids, you'll get bleeding, you'll get a whole bunch of disgusting stuff that you got to fucking deal with for a couple of weeks, maybe a month, and then you'll think twice about doing it the next time, right? Or maybe not. Maybe you'll turn into a fucking dildo riding crack whore and decide that you can't get enough of it, and you buy yourself a Symbian chair, you know, like that type of thing. So it depends on how you do it, I guess, or how you get into it. So you can use a flogger, which Mistress has actually loads of floggers in my arsenal from when I had a dungeon space when I lived in upstate New York. I have probably about 30 floggers, all different size, weights, colors, kangaroo leather. I have frickin', oh god, elk, deer, you name it. I have all different types of leather floggers. Each one of them is a different weight, and they're all used for sorts of flogging impact play, right? So they talk about using the butt plugs, handcuffs, the leather flogger on, the ass. You can use light, bare hand spanking paddling. You can use a feather and kind of, tickle some sensual spots, or you can be blindfolded and then doing this to someone or having it done to yourself. So depending on how you look at it, right? So think about it. 50 Shades of Grey kind of basically mainstream some sort of sensory play into their movie, which, there's parts of the movie where Anastasia is kind of, hung up on the cross, and Christian has her blindfolded, and he's, like, tickling her with feathers in her private parts, and, like, biting her ear and, getting her to submit to him, if you've ever seen 50 Shades of Grey. So, when I first initially saw it, I was like, I never really, like, I gave it a chance, but I didn't. I watched half of it, and I thought it was, like, sappy, and I, like, shut it off. And then, I don't know, a couple of years ago, they had, like, a marathon on, so I watched, like, some of it. Or actually, I watched all of them, and it was kind of interesting, because I think now, like, I don't despise it, because think about it. It brought BDSM, kink, and fetish into the sexual mainstream. So now a lot more people, like, when I've been to Exoticas of the past, they've been mobbed, and there's all these people that are like, oh, I watch 50 Shades of Grey, and I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, I do some stuff like that, but I'm nowhere near fucking 50 Shades of Grey, like, I mean, I branded my initials into an elder slave's, like, above, like, where the pubic hair would be. I branded it there on actually my slave Paula, and it's funny, I actually recently started talking to him again. I mean, we've been talking for a while, but, here and there, like, more so than usual. And, of course, he's telling me he's dying to come back and be my full-time slave, and which is kind of interesting. I did buy him a slave collar, And I do have it. So it's a special Gorian rolled slave collar that only opens with a special key.